Need a motion to approve the amended agenda.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Cindy? All in favor of approval of the amended agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That is approved. Next is consent agenda. If you have any questions on bills, minutes, or financial reports. Any questions on either of those items?
Nothing popped out at me. Make a motion.
Motion to approve the consent agenda, is there a second?
I'll second.
Chad? Roll call, Lindsay.
Chad,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Eric,
Yes.
Rob,
Yes.
Cindy,
Yes.
Brett,
Yes.
Mike.
Yes. Move to committee reports. President's report, I have nothing. Current Tech, we actually moved ours till next Thursday, so we don't meet till then. So I have nothing new for Career and Tech. Activity report, Mr. Severs.
Just that the gym is now open, so as you saw that, the floors are done, if you wanna go take a look at them, they're completed, and we have people in there, today it opened.
Okay. Any questions, AD? Anything there? Hearing none, move Mrs. Bitts. Yeah.
Did the hockey thing go through yet, or they responded on that?
Still working on it, yeah, they said they would do it, I told them cause when I told them who the student was, they were aware of it, that they think that's a natural transition from them going from the Valley City to Jamestown because there's a co-op, so they're willing to do it. The paperwork will have to be in before the end of hockey season next, well, actually it wouldn't be because it's a new sport for us, but we'll get it in before the end of hockey next year to get that going.
Would that kid be in it this year, or no?
No, he's
Okay.
only a seventh grader, I believe.
Okay.
So he'd be in eighth grade, so he wouldn't be in the high school yet. We don't have junior high co-op, so I don't know where I think he plays in Valley City now. He's in the juniors or whatever they call it, I don't even know what it's called, but then,
Yeah.
once he hits freshman year, then we'd have to have that co-op in place with Jamestown, and we'll have that. And when I talked to Rolson, he said that would be fine, he just had to run it by their committee, and then we get the paperwork done, so. I'll just fill out paperwork at some point and send it to him, and have them act on it.
Any other questions, AD wise? Okay. Melissa, technology report.
The only thing I have is just that second reading of the tech plan. Is that under,
It was under old business.
It's under
If you
old,
wanna-
it's tabled to, yeah, we got that coming, so. Anybody have any questions of Melissa right now? Okay, thanks. Building and grounds, is that what,
We'd have to set a meeting date because we wanna get
Yeah.
rolling on that, so.
so that's transportation's
And
next.
same thing, yep.
So do we wanna set one tonight?
We
or-
should do that if we want, for each one of them, we should set, I guess they're the same
They're the
committee,
same
so we
committee,
can,
then.
we can set a date if that's you, Brett, are you on that one? Is that
Yeah,
building, grounds, transportation,
yeah.
2? Lee, are you on that one?
Question, are we gonna leave everybody on the same committees for
So
this
that,
year?
Well,
for right
it's-
until we go to the next
Okay.
meeting, then we change
It's
it.
Mike, Brent, Brett, and Rob.
Okay, Brett,
Great.
Brett, yep.
Yep.
So do you have a date that anybody that's, we wanna go as soon as next week?
That's
Building,
buildings and grounds?
Green ground
And
transportation.
We'll do one night, but we might as well meet to that, because we talk about the routes, that would be part of it, and then also with the building grounds, trying to get some more, put that strategic plan moving forward on that. Will any nights work next week,
Monday night?
21st?
Sure. I don't care.
Sure.
That'll work for me.
Okay,
21st.
21st,
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock?
Oh, boy.
What do you want,
What do you
Rob?
want?
Come on.
9? If it's 9, I could probably make it.
7 better
Seven
for you?
better?
Well, let's just try 6, and
Okay.
All right,
I'll do my best.
just for you.
6 o'clock?
6 o'clock.
Conference call.
I'll just shut the sprayer down and tell the farmer I gotta meet.
Dial in.
Okay,
Okay, those are set.
Budget and finance?
We're gonna need to, I know, one of the big things is gonna be how we set up our budget for next year with with the funds and things like that. How we're gonna keep track of if we move some of those general funds, what are we gonna do? You know, that's gonna be a huge thing, cause if we start spending general fund dollars, how do we record them to make sure that we don't lose those over the next couple of years,
So when do you want that? We're trying to do end of the year stuff right now, I would guess.
Yeah, I would say we
7
wanna wait till
Monday.
after the July meeting,
I would think after you get the books closed out for this
Or
year.
even the first part of July would be
Yeah.
okay, but not.
Not before, no.
Okay.
So we
So we'll look
wanna-
at it in the first part of July, or do,
I think see where you guys are at in there and then throw out a date, see if
Okay.
it'll work for us.
sounds good,
Time you get
we
that.
can do that.
Pre-K six principal reports you sent
She just
out,
had that,
Yeah.
so whatever you guys got there, I mean, there wasn't much,
nothing else there.
just Lane's contract and.
Well, we're cruising right up to you, Mr. Wilson. 712 principal report.
Oh, mine will be, quick. The only thing that I got is that, we, have a verbal agreement for accepting the music position, from Mr. Alec Nelson. He's been teaching the past 2 years in Bowman. He's originally from the Jamestown area. He graduated from Valley City State, so he was looking to get closer to home. So, what we're just waiting, they all knew, he's got a board meeting on Wednesday for them to accept his resignation. But they're all aware it's just the formality of going to the board meeting and having that done. He's already been let out of it. But I didn't have him sign it because of it stating in there that they can't be under
Two contracts.
two contracts.
Yep.
But he'll be here Monday, and he'll be able to sign it, and then he wants to come out to the school and start looking at the room and everything like that.
So we could approve his contract and then.
Contingent upon the
Yeah,
resignation.
Yeah, you could just, I mean, you could approve his contract as, contingent upon the resignation, and then that way you don't have to wait till July to
Right.
approve it again. so
That's
you
what I was
can
saying, we
approve
could do it contingent
Yep.
with that, right?
Yep.
So if that's what the board would wish, we could do it contingent upon the resignation that we would hire as the music teacher.
I'll make that motion.
Chad, is there a second?
I'll second.
Rob, any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Chad,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Eric,
Yes.
Rob,
Yes.
Cindy,
Yes.
Brett,
Yes.
Mike.
Yes.
Didn't know if we should roll that down on the contract approval.
Yeah, well, those different other
Word.
signed ones, yeah. Okay, anything else? Any questions of Mr. Wilson?
When staff or when a position like that leaves, do you do any sort of exit interviewing with them or anything like that to see what, kind of why they left or anything to do?
We have not in the past, but I mean, that's something that's been brought up before, so I mean, it's something we could do. It's not, we've just never done it.
That's probably something we should do just to get an idea.
Be made aware of.
Not a bad idea.
No.
It really isn't. I mean, just,
Is there just a general form, or is that something we have to
I
manage
would,
ourselves?
I could talk to school boards or NDCEL and find out if there's
Right.
anything that they've got that they've utilized. I can even send out a listserv to
Yeah.
see what's
ask people
available.
what other school districts do.
I think it's not a bad idea to do.
Oh, yeah, just get, cause they get a different job where their spouse is moving, or did they, what was the reason, so.
You wanna check that? and
Yep,
see what we can
I'll
do
do
there?
that.
Okay. Thanks, Mr. Wilson. We'll move on to superintendent report.
Just have the NDCEL summer conference starts tomorrow through Thursday, so I will be in Bismarck.
Family connection with Michelle, she didn't have anything here. Move to old business, we'll discuss the public input that we've got a couple back.
Yep, you got two of them back, so I sent those out, one from Mr. Mueller and one from Mrs. Hubda. Any discussion, these are things that I guess if the only thing would be sustaining some of the things that they're mentioning in here. And I think those we could move to S or 3 for discussion on that. and leave the ESER two as is, and use these if we wanna, take input and look at how we could utilize them for ESER three funds if we wanna do that.
I think they both have good points as
They
they,
do.
as
Yeah.
they,
Yep.
discuss that, so I think it's something that we definitely need to look at and figure out what we can
And
do
we
to.
talked about ESER three, like August, or when did we talked at the budget, when we were looking at that?
They said the application will come out sometime in July or August, they don't have a firm date yet.
So we discussed the ESER two,
Yep.
which you wanna roll?
Yep. I guess, yeah, I've got it. What we did, we just, and you should have all got it in the email, but, we put 100,000 into technology, 29,724 in mental health supports, 5,000 in professional development, 40,000 in special ed, 70,000 in current tech, and what was it, 15,700 to address learning loss. And so some of that, we've got quite a bit more we can put into the ESER three, cause we have to have 20% in ESER three. ESER two just said some, so that's why we went to the 15,700. With, what we talked about, special ed, that was our cost to be in the unit,
Part of the cost.
part of the cost of the unit, same with the career and tech, and then part of the greenhouse. And then
And this was part of guidance.
yep, part of the guidance was the mental health supports.
We had the 259, right? Yeah. That's what we had to earmark, was for the 259 that we have in ESER two to send in for. So we need a motion to approve that, correct?
Yep. Yep, and then I will write up the narrative and put in learning loss and submit it for June 24th.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Motion to approve and seconded basically our guidelines for ESER two monies to be spent out of.
And we've got, Lori Matzke's gonna be at the summer conference tomorrow and Wednesday and Thursday, so I'll have everything ready for her to review and make sure that we're all set on what they require for DPI, cause they said they've kicked a couple back just because of some of the things in the narrative that they want specifically identified, so I'll meet with her and make sure we got everything the way we need it.
Next is
Need a
our,
roll call.
oh, yep, we need roll call.
Chad?
Yep.
Lee?
Yes.
Eric?
Yes.
Rob?
Yes.
Cindy?
Yes.
Brett?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes. Second reading is technology plan. You got, so we need a motion to approve that tonight. For the second reading.
Do I have to read it?
Don't have to read it, but you
I'll
need a
make
motion to accept it.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Second by Rob. Any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call, Lindsay.
Chad?
Yes.
Lee?
Yes.
Eric?
Yes.
Rob?
Yes.
Cindy?
Yes.
Brett?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes. New business dollars for scholars discussion.
Do you need me to stand?
Yeah, you guys stay on the, right in the middle.
Just come up so we can
Go in a circle?
pull up to one of the ends so they can hear you on the speaker there. probably.
Okay. Pull a chair up a little bit? Or can I just-
Yep.
I'll just-
You can stand, you can,
stand.
whatever
I'll stand.
you're
Oh, wherever you're
comfortable with,
comfortable.
Jerry.
I think everybody knows who I am in one way or another, whether you want to or not, 'cause I've been here a while. I just wanna give a little history on Dollars for Scholars in case anybody doesn't know our history or how our program works. Beth had just told us it literally started 20 years ago. They started giving out the first scholarships, in 2001. And what did you say they gave out?
I think $7,200 scholarships.
Which is
that
impressive for the
year.
first year to do that. This year, we gave out graduating seniors just a few weeks ago, $14,000. Not only do we do that, but we have enough money that in the fall, we give out returning scholarships to students that are already in college. When we started that, I can't remember how many years ago we started that, probably about 7, 8 years ago. And the first year or two, we only had so much money to work with, so we would get our applications and we would draw their name out of a hat, and that was who got that scholarship, and it was about $500, I think, when we started. Well, for the last 4 or 5 years, we have had enough money where we have been able to give out between $500 and $750 to every applicant in the returning scholarship. So that's some extra money they can get once they've already started college. The application process is, they literally start a profile, which is an application online. They have to get so many volunteer points, which we do throughout the year with our fundraisers, is how they get volunteer points. Also, they can get them from coming to meetings with a parent. For every hour, they get a point. We do pizza sales, we do It's a Wonderful Night tickets, and then we do Fun Night where they work to earn their volunteer points. And they can start, in their freshman year. So they need a minimum of 20 points, and they can start, you can get 5 points a year very easily. So once they hit that, they fill out their application, and they get processed. I think Robin probably knows more about how it assesses the points. Like we do it on a computer, but we also, from the beginning of time, have chosen people in the community, and they look over their applications and they score them, and then give them back to Robin.
Yeah, and it's based on like awards that they get throughout the year. But it's only the 4 years of high school that they get credit for. Their academics,
It's just a small part.
yeah,
Community
they're all,
service.
Community service
they're
is
all
one.
worth different
Activities.
percentages on that application too.
And then they
as
have an
far as what-
essay that they have to fill out.
Yeah. And they-
Not only do they an essay, they get a reference. So they need a reference from a teacher.
Anyone that they.
Normally
choose.
it's a teacher, but they can do coworkers or bosses or ministers or priests or whoever. They find somebody that can give them a reference. And then those are all scored. We award money based on what their total points are. So we have like a range. If you're between this point and this point, we give you this much money. So then we choose from our donations. And our donations come from individuals, from businesses, organizations, from the teachers. They have a scholarship that they do. We have, just this year, we've gotten 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 new ones for a total of $1,850. In the last couple years, we have been pushing for endowments, which is a legacy. Once you hit $5,000, you make enough money every year to give a $250 scholarship. So we have gotten when did the start? They can build it. They can say, okay, I want to start at 5,000, so give up 250. Or they can say, our goal is 20,000, so we want to give out $1,000 every year. And they can just build it until they get to that point, and then when we give it, will be like the following year after they hit it. Since we started that, we've gotten 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 endowments for a total of $58,450. We were able to give one out this spring, and the following ones will be 3 of them next year. The other one is waiting until they hit a certain mark, and then we'll give those out. If a student gets, for instance, I don't even remember what our points are right now, but let's say they get 150 points, and that's $1,000. We will take $250 from this main scholar, 500 from that one. It's completely random unless they have certain criteria. We do have scholarship donors that say, I would like ours to go to a teacher, someone going in education, someone going in ag, someone going in electrical. They can and do that. And we have had years such as last year when we only had 3 seniors that applied and were granted scholarships. So it's hard to get all of those donors' money into those 3. So they allow us, and I don't think they've ever said no, to give them out to the returning scholarships. That's why we've been able to give so much in the fall as well. So that's a little background of how we do them. We have always had a letter that we send out. It goes in, it's on our website. We have a massive list of people that we send to every year. We've tried even doing it more than once a year, because sometimes it gets a little lower and it makes us get a little stressed that we're not gonna hit it. We've always hit it, which is awesome. But in there, we have promised our donors that they will be recognized during graduation. Now, last year, we all know what crazy last year was. This year was half crazy, so we get that things change. But not having them announced at graduation was difficult for some of our donors and very difficult for some of us that do the work. As I know it probably was for other scholarship that didn't get. And like I said, I understand things change and there's time crunch and there's things like that. But we've never had an issue. And I understand change, but I also understand doing things the same because they work and because it makes sense and it's just the right thing. So not only for ours, but even for recognition of the CTE scholarship. That's $6,000 that they give to those kids. I would not have known about that scholarship to tell and urge my kids to do it unless I had been at a graduation the year before my oldest graduated and someone received it. That's the only way I went, they got what? How did they get $6,000 from that scholarship? Well, it's very easy to do, in fact. I was impressed with how easy it is to get that. They just have to put in the work. Applying, taking the certain class they have to take, or a work keys test, or an AP. They have to just do certain things which are very easy to do if they know in time that they have to do it. I've had 2 of my own kids receive the CTE scholarship, which is awesome. And like I said, I wouldn't know unless I'd been at that graduation when somebody received it, which I feel like is the same thing with these scholarships. Not only does it recognize and make us aware of what's out there, but I think it also helps with the whole point of some of these people putting this money in. I think, for instance, like a memorial. We'll say John Klein. Every year that family knows that his name is going to be mentioned, and people, even if they don't know in 20 years, people are going to go, who is that? It'd be wonderful to tell them who that was and how that came about and why that's mentioned every single year. The kids work so hard along with an insane uprising of community support. This year, in 2 months' time, we ended up getting the Ethan Chadwick Memorial to $6,000. $300 every year now we can hit. They can build it if they want, but as it stands, it's $300 every year now. And I'll start with his graduation class next year. And I think it's super important to publicly recognize that for not just his family, but for everybody, so they remember who and why that was done. The other point, I think, is for underclassmen. It's really good for them to see and hear that they can do things like that. My own son, who graduates next year, has absolutely no clue what he wants to do. No idea. We bring random things up all the time because he has no idea. Do you want to be a zookeeper, Casey? Like, what is your ambition? We don't know what you even like. What is it? Well, in scholarships, since he has done, whoever he got it from, I'm guessing my husband, because I don't think it's from me, his archery, which we just got back from Myrtle Beach for his archery. To date, he has received $7,750 in scholarships. So even though he has no idea what he wants to do, he can try something. He can say, I'm gonna go to school and see what I like to do. My daughter Jordan just graduated with a certificate. She was in school for 1 year. She ended up having to take another class because long story, she decided on a different major, a different class for 1 year. She would have been able to pay for her entire year with that $7,000. So it opens up to kids that are like, there's no way. There's no way I can afford college. The CTE scholarship, how Taylor told me was, I did not know she received it until graduation. And the reason I didn't know, she knew, but she didn't tell anybody because she was embarrassed, because a lot of times it's a lower ACT score, because she got a low ACT score. So she was embarrassed thinking, I got a low score, so they gave me the scholarship. But she also did those other things she needed to do to get it. So you can get a 17, I don't know what she got, I'm sure she got 20 something, but she possibly got something lower than 20, still got that $6,000 scholarship, which is $750 every semester. Huge difference when you're trying to come up with loans or anything else to try to pay for it. So I feel like the public recognition is very necessary, and we really push for it to be done that way. We would really like to see it done at graduation. And like I said, not necessarily just dollars for scholars, but all their scholarships. I mean, these kids have earned it. They did put the work in. They get recognized for being the most improved football player at their football awards. They should get recognition for getting these too, because they have to work for it. It's not just given to them. I think that's all I want to say about that point. Does anybody have questions about it? I have one more thing to maybe discuss.
Can I add, we came to the board and administration, not 20 years ago, but like 18 years ago, after our first couple of years of organizing and realizing how we had to raise funds. And we had approval of our administration and board to be recognized at graduation. Because the many things, getting more money, giving young kids an idea they can get scholarships, recognizing, and it's not just academics to get the scholarship.
When I was on the Booster Club and heading that a few years ago, we had someone that wanted to donate money in his wife's and his daughter's names. And he kept upping the price. Let's give $1,000 each. Nope, I want to do $2,000. When it got to the end, he wanted to do $8,000. And I had passive aggressively pushed him towards Dollars for Scholars, like tried. Like, this could make you money every year. This doesn't have to be just a little nameplate on our plaque in the hall, which is awesome, and wonderful that you supported our activities. But at the same time, you could do this every year with this money. So if it was just out there, and I don't think people really understand what, you hear a legacy fund, you hear an endowment fund, I don't think they know what it is. Once you hit that $5,000, it's banked. You've made that money every single year. So I think the public recognition is very important. It's very difficult for us to get it out to our community and for them to understand, and I think that's a good way to do it.
And I just want to point out that it's also nice for people to realize that anybody can do it, and that it can come from a business, it can come from your own personal family, it can come from a memorial.
Right.
Anybody can do it, and you can put it in any type of name. It can be in a business name, it can be in,
Right?
yeah.
They can do it anyway, and you can build it. Like I said, you don't have to start until you get to the amount you want to start with. And it can take years. It can be, how little do we know that it's the Lafine family, for instance, has been building and building, and then all of a sudden Lonnie passed away. Well, guess what? This is a great memorial, in his name now, that we were able to give out this spring. So it's really a great thing for that.
And she's going to continue to build that.
Build hers.
She said every year.
And the money trickles in sometimes.
Yes.
We do it online. We have online donations, and we just keep building.
So did those get recognized at all this year then?
They got recognized they were able to put a sheet of paper in with the graduation programs, and it listed all of them. And so that's great. We love when we get to do that. And they had a few of the kids in a group picture on Facebook. So,
But Facebook
They did
didn't
get
mention the sponsors.
not at all. So
They
we
just
need that.
mentioned the name.
They need that. Like I said, endowments, $58,000 we've received in a couple of years for these families that want to, and businesses. TCI Insurance is one of them now, one of our new ones. So it's awesome that they can keep that going in their names, and they can be hopefully recognized, because there wasn't enough of it.
What
You know,
was
we
the
can't-
reason
We can't
it
push it enough.
didn't get done at graduation?
Yeah, what would be your comments on that, Mr. Wilson?
So-
Because we kind of discussed
Yep.
at graduation, it's always kind of the same kids that get
Yeah,
all
so
the
2
awards.
years, let's see. After my second year, the last time that we did it, I had several parents come up to me and ask me, is it necessary to do the scholarship there? Because it was the same kids getting announced over and over and over.
But I'm guessing
again.
it's those same kids that are doing the work. They're putting in the time, that are doing, that's
Yep.
kind of the point. You don't get, any kind of recognition at work, or you don't get bumped up in salary, or you don't get anything like that unless you put in the work, which is the same thing. So that's the same thing as far as I'm concerned, as recognizing those that are doing what they need to do to be
Yep.
recognized.
Yeah, and I understand that, and I agree, but graduation isn't the place to do that. Graduation is a celebration of all the students graduating, getting
That's why
through high
they're
school.
getting scholarships,
Whether they
because
were
they're
straight
graduating.
D students or straight A students, it's them
Agreed,
graduating.
it is,
No
but it's also a
student should
recognition.
feel less than other students on that day.
So then why do they get honor cords? That's the same thing, you're showcasing, why does that kid have a
Yep.
yellow cord?
And
That's
if you,
why that kid
and
has a
if you
yellow
want
cord,
to
they
find it
earned
out,
it.
you have to look in the program. We don't announce that.
But
We
it
don't-
should be announced,
Several,
honor students should be announced.
several people go, why do they have those orange stoles on? You didn't allow that to be put in the program either, that the orange stoles meant honor society.
That
I
should be
didn't
recognized.
disallow it.
I told
I-
Joanne not to put it in.
No, I did not.
That was announced during graduation though, that they were, when they
Those
got their
were honor
diploma.
students, the yellow cords. The orange stoles was National Honor Society.
These last 2 years are the only years in the 20-year history that it has not been announced. Last year was COVID, it was
20 years.
crazy, and we know, we
And
completely
the-
understand.
The final input came from all of the kids. They didn't want it.
I
as a part
understand
of
letting,
graduation.
I understand letting your kids decide things. I don't understand things to this caliber. I understand what color do you want your graduation colors to be. I understand who do you want to sing, or what do you want for a video. I get that. I don't get this. This is above asking 18 and 17-year-olds what they want.
Yeah, and we've
And
talked
it
about
was
putting
just like
together
a
an awards banquet
A dress
to
code.
celebrate those awards at the end of the
And I
year.
agree with that. If there is an award ceremony where the public is
Yep.
invited and it's announced,
Yep,
I don't have a problem with that.
and that's what we're looking at doing.
But
for
none
that.
of that was done this year. So these people that gave this money, $14,000 that we gave out, which we have to give out more in the fall, got nothing as far as recognition, other than a Facebook post and an
They didn't
insert in
get that.
graduation. And most
No,
people
they
didn't, they didn't get a
get that.
listing. They just got a
No.
picture of the kids.
Yep.
And the seniors themselves admit they were asked that morning as they were decorating the gym. That was the first they were asked when they wanted to get their dollars per scholarship.
I just think there's things that
And I think
go
they
above
probably
taking a
said,
class
"I don't
vote
care."
and giving out thousands of dollars of somebody else's money, I think is something that should be above them.
As far as the same kids being recognized, it's probably the same, you could say that same for football, basketball, any sport. I mean, anybody could have that argument. It's the same kids.
Or reading, the Millionaires Club. Those
Reading,
kids
yes.
have found out what it's like to get that privilege, and
And
they
love it.
wanna keep doing it.
Mhm.
And it encourages other kids to do it when they see that. That needs to be recognized. All of these activities, as well as sports,
And
need to
getting
be
back to
recognized.
just having people's families see, other siblings see what it's like at graduation. Oh, my sister or my brother got an award. It's something for them to look to. Or, you know, if it's not recognized in a more public way, it's hard to get the word out and to
Not
get
only is it hard to get the word out for
Students to-
students, it's hard to get the word out for potential donors. There
But
is
Jerry-
gonna come a time
Jerry, and
when
you
we
want
don't
us to have
that.
some discussion on how it gets recognized.
Yes.
And I think we've got that message how we
Yes,
can,
yep,
somehow we move forward to get some recognition,
right, that's exactly. what
however we're gonna
looking
look
for.
at that.
Yes,
so.
For all
more than a
scholarships.
piece of paper or a
Yes.
Facebook post,
Yes,
yes.
So is this, do other schools do it at graduation?
I think a lot do awards now, or
Some-
award ceremonies
a
or.
lot of it might be
especially the
awards.
big-
Okay.
most
We
of
need,
those
you,
schools
what
are
you're
big
looking for is
schools.
a public,
Sorry.
a
What
public
you're not looking
recognition.
at is last year we had 3 kids
Yep.
that got scholarships. How long could that possibly take? 3 kids, and that happens, that has happened in the past. Now, this year we had 10, I think, and so I get it, that takes longer. So then we need to recognize that and maybe ask us, not a week in advance, but a couple weeks, we might have an idea. Robin always has an idea, she can see the profiles. Who's done it? She has an idea of how many we're gonna have, and yep, we
So,
totally need this
so
done
moving forward,
tomorrow.
we're gonna look at a discussion of how we can publicly recognize from all the types of things, maybe there's a better way to do
Correct,
it.
not just us, I mean,
Not-
I feel like it needs to be.
And probably
your
a sports bank, or
achievements.
we look at some different ways to look at it.
Correct. There used to be perfect attendance
Yeah.
awards,
May,
things like that.
does it have to be, you know, if they do a award ceremony where all the scholarships, not just dollars for scholars, but all of them are recognized?
I think that's a great idea.
That's how it would
Would
work.
an award ceremony be better than?
I think it's a great idea, but not at 2 o'clock in the afternoon on a Wednesday.
No, it's gotta be a.
Right,
It
right.
needs to be.
They used to have an awards banquet in the evening and.
Agreed, and I don't think we have an issue with that. I think as long as they're recognized
Would anybody show up?
publicly,
Well, that's the thing, you're gonna end up.
their parents.
Just
That's,
parents.
that's why we're looking at graduation, why
Can
we
you
would put
make
the
it a
emphasis
dollars
on
for
graduation.
scholars event that they go to?
I wouldn't want it to just be dollars for
But
scholars,
I
I
mean,
would want
could
it to be
they,
every
could
day.
they put something on to get people there and then make the awards part of it?
Oh, I don't know.
I think we both try to think of some ideas, and we'll work, we want to see
That
some
part
type of public
Okay, that
recognition.
part is difficult in the respect that this is our board, 3 people. This is our workers, 3 people. So you want us to put on fun night, which is difficult to do with 3 people, sometimes 2, sometimes 1, depending on if we have busy schedules. The kids obviously do the work, but we have to be there and do the work as well. So coming up with another thing to do, you know, a month later might be a little difficult for us.
No, because when we talked about it the last time, you know, what I envision is a spring awards ceremony banquet, which encompasses all the spring activities. So, you know, like basketball wouldn't have their own, and then, you know, all the scholarships, all of that, because that's what a lot of the schools do, is just a spring award ceremony to get all of that stuff and have as many people in attendance as possible.
I agree.
Where if you just did basketball and, you know, that,
Yeah.
just those people would be there. If you did just scholarships,
Right.
just those
Right.
people would be there.
I
So
don't
we
think my
going
kids'
to
cousins that are
encompass-
from Minnesota care what they got for
Yeah.
scholarships, honestly. So I agree, I
Yep.
do agree, as long as you can get other
Yep.
kids there from other
Yep.
activities. So
Yep.
that it's not just a sports related thing, it's not just an academic thing, so everybody sees that it's for everybody.
Just be aware as you guys discuss ways to do this, that our program on the computer is very time sensitive too, so if we plan on changing things,
We
we
have to
have
know
a
in
lot of
advance.
things to change and get things right.
Our
So that
scholarships
students
open
need
for them
to-
to apply to April 1st, is that right, or
Right, we usually give them 1 month to get
And
their
then they
application
close-
completed.
May 1st or April 30th? So that's our time for knowing who's gonna get a scholarship. And then awarding our scholarships is just us getting
And then
together
we
and going
still
over them.
take another week to.
Unless we have, like next year will be 2 of them, because I have a senior, so I'm not allowed to do the scholarships. But they are, honestly, they're not, we don't have names on them, they have numbers. Robin knows names, but she doesn't know it by looking at their number either, she'd have to look them up. Sometimes we know because I know everybody, so I know that that kid's going into that at that school, so that's a possibility. But when we have a student of our own kid, that's graduating, we don't come to those meetings, they do it without us, so.
Anybody have any other questions, Jerry? I think we'll look at some type of how we can do recognition.
Okay, that'd be great. One more thing, I'll try to be quick. The other thing is, for the last, probably since they started, when Dollars for Scholars started with the school, we had a liaison with the school. We had a teacher, we had a parent, we had an office worker, we had somebody that was our connection. We don't have that anymore. We do have helpers, we have fantastic helpers. Joanne helps, Deb helps, Beth has helped. We have great helpers. They will do what Mr. Severson, Mr. Wilson has. And usually our counselor. We need a career counselor. Typically, that's who takes care of our stuff at the school. So we've had to literally take time off work, take vacation time to come to the school to talk to the kids. And all of you that have children and have been around children know how difficult it is to get them to understand and what we're talking about. This obviously is over their heads when we first start talking. So we need somebody at the school that is pushing, and nope, you have to get this in. We have a lot of, in fact, I had to Facebook message a parent today because we can't get a hold of her child to accept her scholarships. It happens every year, and I know it happens to all of you that work with kids. have to find ways. My kids are always my in-between. Do you have this person's cell number? Give me their cell number. I do that a lot, because we are trying to get to these kids. Our only way of getting to them is the email they give us, which if they give us their BCN email, that's fine until they graduate, then they don't have a BCN email. And their number. If they give us their phone number, we can text them, we can call them, we have no problem with doing that. They have to check those things, and they have to respond to those things. And that doesn't happen very smoothly, ever, any year that we've done this. So we need somebody at the school. Tori Anstead helped me a ton this year with getting to the kids. I don't wanna rely on 16 people. I would love to have somebody that we can communicate with, that can communicate to them. So
And you are correct, the career counselor is
Should be
the
that
person
is
that
that
should be
person.
doing
We
it.
had some issues this year, we had some good stuff, but we had some issues this year with that. So it just depends on
I think that's
who we have.
pretty
So
interesting.
my point is, if I don't have a, like I know they haven't hired anybody yet, which I get. What are some options we can do in that respect? And I realize this is out of everybody's realm of what they're supposed to be doing for their job. But
It's
we
even
need,
getting to the
Well-
freshmen,
yes,
that's new.
yes.
Gee, you have to earn points these next.
And if you start
4
early, you
years,
will
huh?
get done early. So, I mean, it's super hard to talk to a senior about how much that extra $1,500 is gonna help you your second semester. They don't get it. They just don't
Yeah,
understand.
no,
And I don't
get
blame
it,
them for
'cause
not understanding. They
talking
don't-
to them
they
about
don't
the
know.
state scholarship is,
Absolutely, they
Like
don't
this.
get it. Kids don't get scholarships until they're in college the first
because
year, and then they
you
want
say
money.
it as 6,000, that sounds like a big, but then when you break it down, well, you get 750
every-
each semester.
Right.
That's like, well, is it worth the,
Right.
so.
And it's hard to put into their heads, your books are probably gonna be $750 done.
That's your
if you
future
do that
student loan
scholarship.
payment, every one of that could be
Agreed.
4.
Yep,
So,
exactly.
yep.
It's very hard to get it into their head, so we need some help in that respect. Deb takes care of their points here. They do points for whatever they've done, 50-50, they've sold tickets.
Yep.
And I get the information to Deb, she puts it down in their file. She has their list. We have told them, if you need to know where you're at point-wise, go ask Deb, she's got a file. That's been fantastic. Joanne is really good at helping with our game sponsors and anything that I need, because she did Dollars for Scholars as well for a long time. So, we do have help, but like I said, it'd be nice
Well,
to have one main contact
Yes,
for help.
like going forward, like this year, it'll be me and whoever the new
The
counselor
counselor.
is.
Which is great,
going
as
through
long as we can
that.
get, and we don't
Until I
ask
know that that
too many
counselor.
things, you know, it's not very often we're like, could you please tell the kids this? It's probably twice a year.
Yeah.
But we need to make sure they
Yeah,
know
cause you guys
that.
would email me or whatnot, and
Yes,
I would have to speak.
yep,
Stacy?
The only thing I have on that is I know,
Mid-
Dollars for Scholars.
liaison number one.
I did that for many, many
A long
years.
time.
I helped
did
these
it
ladies
for
out
many
and-
years.
I know their troubles and their stipulations with it. With helpers at the school here, I don't see why the homeroom teacher couldn't help those kids out. I set up a meeting every month with my homeroom kids. I have the freshman class, we have a meeting every month. If there's something that, needs to be addressed from Dollars for Scholars, I have no problem putting that part of our meeting agenda. And I think that's what the homeroom teacher could do,
Okay,
if
good
that's
idea.
something that,
That would be amazing.
everybody would agree with. I don't
And it
think
could
that would be a
filter
problem.
from
Absolutely,
Wilson
if we
to
give them
the teachers.
information and it goes to
Yep.
each teacher, it
Yep.
would be
So I think that would,
fantastic.
I think that would help out those classes.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions? Talk long enough, sorry.
It's all good.
Thank you.
It's good stuff. Thank you.
Thank you for
Thank
your
you
time.
for everything you
And
guys
thank you on
do.
behalf of Casey and Archery, and that the board and the school is
So awesome.
backs it still every year, which is amazing since it's not a sanctioned sport. We know that we're blessed with that. He finished 29th in the world, so it was awesome. It was a really fun trip. It was really hot and really humid, but it was really fun, and we wouldn't have gone otherwise, so.
That's awesome.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Okay, next we got contract approvals. And we
Well,
have,
the one, yeah, we had the one that would be then contingency, and then This one would be Lane Klosinski, is that how you pronounce it?
Klosinski, yep.
And she will be in the elementary.
We need a
From that
motion
one,
to
other
accept,
than
you
that.
make the motion?
Yeah.
Motion to accept that contract, is there a second?
I'll second.
By Chad. Any other discussion? If not, roll call on Wayne.
Chad,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Eric,
Yes.
Rob,
Yes.
Michelle,
Yes.
Cindy,
Yes.
Brett,
Yes.
Mike.
Yes.
Point though, she also, she graduated the same year that Mrs. Anderson graduated, so Sarah Anderson. and her
Oh, there.
were classmates.
Okay.
Recycling.
Yeah.
Contract amendment.
That's gonna be Dale's, that's just the one that we just amended to, get his correct years.
Okay, do we need,
No, just the
information.
information, cause we had talked about
Yeah.
that, and you said it's just to give the information, cause we do it with any teacher, so,
coming in?
just so everybody knows, yeah.
Administrative contract approvals, do we have 4 of them back, or
I have 3 back.
3 back?
There's the
Slacker.
I guess I have 4.
We got 4 back?
We need a motion to approve those.
Those we would need motion to approve if they've all been signed.
Each one or all of them?
We could do it
could do
individual
it.
or however you wanna make a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve them all in group,
Okay,
as long as they're signed correctly.
I'll second that.
second by Rob. Any other discussion? If not, roll call.
Chad,
Yeah.
Lee, Eric,
Yes.
Rob,
Yes.
Michelle,
Yes.
Cindy,
Yes.
Brett,
Yes.
Mike.
Yes. Next is classified salary increase approvals. We had some thoughts on that after we talked. And if you wanna do anything there? Got a motion
I'll make a motion to approve the classified salary increase.
of,
Well, has it been discussed?
Yeah, we haven't really discussed it.
We haven't really talked the numbers yet, so.
Oh, well then why did you ask for?
We did at our, that special meeting.
yeah, we talked about where what we wanted to go, but we haven't put a number to
Oh,
it.
Oh, you and Michelle were at that, I suppose.
nope.
I know I wasn't. Who are we talking about here then specifically?
So this would be the hourly staff.
Hourly staff, basically. From Lindsay, the office staff, to bus drivers, cooks, custodians, all the other staff, other than administration and teachers. Paras and that, yeah.
Do we wanna bring this up from last meeting?
Yeah.
Same numbers?
Yeah.
So I make a motion to, increase the hourly staff, a quarter an hour this year.
Okay.
Gotta call that one.
So,
Is that one gonna go?
we'd have to address that separately if you wanted to.
That was gonna be the second.
Okay.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, motion is for 25-cent raise for hourly staff, second by Brett. I would declare a conflict, you can decide if I wanna vote, I have basically a conflict with that, voting on that one, but that's your call, yes or no to vote, so.
I don't see a real conflict
Yeah,
there.
it's going to everybody, it's not specific people, so.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just saying that,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
tell me if I vote
Yeah.
or not, so, your call.
I think you can vote.
Yeah,
So you make a motion to say that.
I'll make a motion that Mike can vote due to the fact that it's not
Add Chad on
personal
that, too.
specific.
Oh,
And Chad.
Second,
just kidding.
roll call on that.
Chad, Lee,
Yes.
Eric,
Yes.
Rob,
Yes.
Michelle,
Yes.
Cindy,
Yes.
Brett.
Yes.
All right, so the motion is 25 cents for hourly staff. Any other discussion there?
Is that the same for everyone?
All hourly.
Hourly staff. So all the
Cooks,
administrative
custodians,
assistants, all the cooks,
admin.
all the custodial staff, the maintenance guys, But, yeah, cause Buster is big with the hour and hour, I think, yep.
It works out per the hour.
Yeah.
So we had a motion, we need a second on it.
You got a
Got a
second.
We got a
Sorry, sorry.
second.
So just discussion for clarification is what they were asking. And
My only comments on that would be, I know the COVID's brought a lot of issues for everybody, but it seems like the amount of time the business managers had to put into that has been pretty extreme.
So if you, we could amend that motion to something else for that, if you would like.
I would like to see that, but I don't know what that should be. Maybe I'll leave that up for discussion.
Okay, we'll vote on all other than the business manager right now. 25 cents for all hourly, the exception of the business manager for this vote. Then we could test that one separately.
I like that.
Okay, that's what we're voting on, all hourly staff, the exception of the business manager. 25-cent increase. Roll call, Lindsay.
Chad?
Yes.
Lee?
Yes.
Eric?
Yes.
Rob?
Yes.
Michelle?
Yes.
Cindy?
Yes.
Brett?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes. Then we will have business manager discussion.
I don't know if this COVID, if this is gonna become the new normal, or what that job actually entails, or, you know, how this is gonna affect it, but is this more of a raise or a bonus, or how that fits into things, or what, but it just seems like from my time being here, there's been an awful lot of COVID-related stuff that probably wasn't there 2 years ago. And it seems like it's been, I mean, there's a lot of paperwork and stuff that needs to get done, that has been getting done, so.
Is there a thought anybody has?
I agree with Eric. There's new funds, there's new everything. There's so much new.
The one comment that I would make is, and not necessarily towards the raise, but it's the handcuffing of the overtime. Cause I know she worries about going over hours, that I think that there's certain times of the year or weeks or on board days where she shouldn't be having to worry about how many hours she's coming across and then, well, I gotta leave early Friday. That if she's not abusing it and we understand why she's there doing her job, we should be okay with it.
Well, I think that's how we left it. We didn't want the scheduled overtime, but if the Severson needs that, we were okay with them overtime hours. We just didn't want scheduled overtime, so we
Yeah.
talked about a year ago. But I don't think anybody was against totally no overtime if it was needed.
Are you thinking like comp time?
Well, just so it eliminates the process of her having to analyze and keep track of the hours that she has this week. Where like, if this was a normal school week, depending on how long this meeting would go, then she would have to start going, well, okay, Friday, I'm on that, to eliminate that from her equation and going, I was there till 11 o'clock, that's when we got, and I just work out the rest of my week.
Yeah, now I have to leave by 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock.
on
Yeah.
Friday morning, so I
Yep.
don't have any overtime.
And I think we left that kind of pretty much to you,
Yeah,
wasn't that
that's up to
your
Severson,
interpretation of
really.
that? Yep. Okay, so everybody have a thought on business manager increase?
I believe currently, I think, for this year, I think $1 a raise to see, cause like Eric was saying, all the extra paperwork she's doing, and then review it in the next year for additional, if there's more money than, you know,
Or
to
subtraction.
compensate for all the extra effort that she's putting in with going to classes and going to schools and
Okay.
getting all this other stuff done. So I think $1 an hour raise would be,
Is that a motion for you?
that'll be a motion.
I will second that.
Michelle, second. Any other discussion?
Well, I just want to add on to what he was saying. She's also had a lot more meetings that she's had to record and find out who is on those meetings, and some of us don't always reply right away. I am guilty. a couple times of not replying or two, so.
I just
yes.
think a lot has been thrown on her plate in a short amount of time, and she's done a fantastic job, so that's my input on it.
Okay. Any other discussion? If not, roll call.
Chad,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Eric,
Yes.
Rob,
Yes.
Michelle,
Yes,
Cindy,
Yes.
Brett,
Yes,
Mike.
Yes. Okay. Kitchen staff resignation.
Okay, I got an email. Hi, Mr. Severson, I'll be resigning from my position as assistant cook effective immediately. I enjoyed 8 years there. I'm very happy to have had the opportunity to work for a wonderful school. Have a great summer. Thank you, Lisa Baca.
We don't need to accept.
No, we really don't need
Okay.
to. I mean, it's a at-will
Yep.
employer, so.
Okay.
Just a more of a
So then what's our
update.
thoughts with that?
That'll reduce the kitchen staff to 3.
Yes.
So we have to think, are we gonna hire someone else, or are we talking?
Mike, you'd mentioned a possible hot lunch committee.
We talked about revisiting in next July and
Maybe July meeting.
redoing that hot lunch committee to maybe look at that. Is that something that could be brought back up?
Would that, do we have enough time?
Do we have time to do that?
July, August would be enough to, if we decided to
No.
hire another one?
We had Dave's open over a month before he left, and
Nothing, so it's,
I think we'd be fine.
okay.
That's what I suggested to Mike, even before this, is, you know, to look at redoing that. We've had the hot lunch committees before, and
Yeah.
maybe redo that, get that reestablished when we set committees next month.
Could we open the position just to see if anybody applies for it? I mean, it might be hard to find someone to fill that spot. If, somebody's willing, it might kind of change how we do things. I don't know.
I mean, you could, I mean, it doesn't, it's not, it doesn't guarantee anything, you know, I'm just, if the hot lunch, if the committee gets together and decides that 3 is the number, you know, we just wouldn't go any
Just-
further
you
with the
just close
application.
close that.
Yeah.
It's a thought, open it up right now, or wait for the committee?
it's not a bad idea.
See what,
Viable,
what's out there, yeah.
Because that'll help your potential decision-making. If you have 0 applicants,
might have took care of itself.
but if you, what if you get applicants
And you
and they
hire
get them
and
in,
say-
you get them now, and then you're not deciding anything till July, and you're making those people wait, you could end up losing them anyway. Cause they might go take a job that gets offered to them between now and when we make a decision. That would be my only thought,
Yeah, because our next
Like
board meeting ain't till the 21st of
Yeah.
July.
so.
The only other
Okay,
option
wait.
would be you could set up your you could do
We
a
could,
committee
we
now.
could commit a
Yep.
ad hoc committee for right now,
And then go through and
That would work.
discuss and.
Mhm.
maybe that's the idea, that we could run it to, just put an ad hoc committee now,
Yep.
and then we could reset one in our
Yeah,
annual
then you
meeting.
could appoint, I mean, then you.
We could appoint a committee for right now, and then, because we don't have one right now, to look at this. I think that might be the better procedure myself, than to look at it and make a decision and move forward with that.
I'll make a motion, we get one appointed, or set aside if we
Okay.
need.
Seconded to set a committee,
I'll second it.
okay? Roll call.
Chad,
Yeah.
Lee,
yes.
Eric,
Yes.
Rob,
Yeah.
Michelle,
Yes,
Cindy,
Yes.
Brett,
Yes,
Mike.
Yes. So now we would need up to 4 people. Is there volunteers right now that would like to sit on that committee to get started?
I think.
We'll probably relook at that committee come our annual meeting, but for right now, that's what we need to look at, 3 or 4 people.
From the board?
Yes.
I do think there should be someone from the Budget and Finance Committee on it,
Yeah.
for sure, 1 or 2 of them.
How about staff? We'd have to have somebody cook staff on.
Well, we need.
Yeah, I think we would
kids.
invite.
I
we
mean,
them.
yeah.
Yeah.
we meet with them, but we
Yeah.
need to,
I would
board
say you just get your
personnel.
committee together and then we can send it out when we're gonna meet.
You're gonna-
Especially send it to the cooks and
Yes.
make sure they know. But and send it out.
We're gonna have some staff involved, yes.
Well, like, just like Bud comes to the transportation.
Yes.
What's that?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. I'd love to, but I'm on enough.
So Brett? Is that what you said?
Yeah, Brett said he'd love to.
That's
So I
what I
heard.
heard.
I heard I would love to
I heard
too,
Brett
yes,
say
I
I'd love
did.
to.
That's what I heard.
I'll be on it, but I agree someone from budget and finance it would be really helpful to be on there.
Okay.
And that's not my department, so.
But you would be one.
Nor
Yeah.
mine.
Okay, so Cindy's
Cindy.
on. And who's budget and finance? Mike, Lee,
Eric.
Eric, and Brent?
No, Brent isn't on.
Brent
It's
isn't.
Brett,
Brett.
Brett.
Lee, Eric.
See, he already said he'd love to, so I think that.
I'm on most almost already, so.
Put Ruder on, he's not here.
He's not
Yeah.
on budget and
He's
finance.
not on budget.
But he can still be one of the
He's still
members
be
if
one of
nobody
them.
else wants to
Okay,
be
so
on.
Yeah, it's a good spot.
You're
Put him
pretty
on
busy,
there.
I mean, for right now, for this ad hoc one, I could sit on it from budget and finance, I won't wanna be on it once we get to tomorrow, setting a new committee, but I could help with this one.
I'll help you with it.
Cindy, Mike, Chad,
Okay, we've got three, do we want three, do we want another one?
should we
I
put
think-
Bruner as an alternate?
Bruner, yeah, put Bruner
Brent is
in
an
there.
alternate.
Just for the ad hack.
Yep, for this one, yep. Okay,
Do
so
it for us.
we got four.
Yep.
We need Kim, and then see if there's any others that would be, and then kinda work up some type of time frame for that.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Jump to the 2021-2023 negotiate agreement approval. Stacy, you're okay with all the,
I got two things for you, real quick, just wording changes here and question on one thing. With the sick leave bank, we changed that to the school district provided a sick leave bank of 160 days, 2019. It says will provide, you guys already provided that
will we provide?
value. So we need that verbiage changed in letter F, Lindsay.
Just to
And
say
you
for
said to say sick bank provided.
The school district provided
160.
160 days.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, with letter L, if a teacher's filling for a teacher during their time, are they getting $20 or is it $15?
It's always been 15, hasn't it?
Okay, on this one that you sent, was it
Says 20.
on there? So that has to be changed to 15, then just to make sure.
As,
Well, I compared this to our.
I thought it always said
last one.
15, didn't it?
Compared this one to our last agreement, and I know it said 15,
did
but
say
this one got
15.
changed
Yep.
to 20, so I was wondering if you guys wanna change it to 20 or not.
I guess it's still 15, Stacy.
Just making sure.
Just throwing it out there.
Right, just making sure. But other than that, that's all I had.
Okay,
And then can we get the new salary schedule for the next 2 years then as well, Lindsay?
Yep.
yep, that'll
Thank you.
tail on to it. Okay. So with those two changes in our negotiated agreement, we're looking for approval of our 2-year teacher negotiated agreement.
I'll make a motion to approve the amended agreement.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Any other discussion? If not, roll call.
Chad,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Eric,
Yes.
Rob,
Yes.
Michelle,
Yes.
Cindy,
Yes.
Brett,
Yes.
Mike.
Yes. And thanks for your group too, tell them thank you, it worked out, I think,
Will
very
do,
well.
thank you.
Okay, end of the year data presentation, Tina wasn't.
Tina wasn't gonna be here, she had another meeting, but, you got the results, so if you have anything, she said she was more than willing to discuss with you if you wanted to do that, so she gave you everything she has, and you can contact her if you have any questions.
I
Okay.
think she's actually, I'm filling in for her, so I
Okay.
think she's actually coming next month.
Oh, okay, 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 perfect.
Then if you have any questions for next month, then she can answer those then.
Perfect.
You have the update on ADM?
Yep, they meet, the Stutzman County Commission will meet tomorrow night, and they are going to decide on what tax rebate or tax incentive they're gonna give Archer Daniels and Midland for that plant in Spearwood. The majority of the discussion was, 20 years was too long. The fire department had a different proposal, they would like to be exempt from the, tax incentive. And the commission said they'll just meet tomorrow night and make a decision.
Any input, or inkling where they'll go with less than 20 years?
Less than 20, yeah, they were, none of them gave any indication about what. I mean, they did talk about 10-year graduated, bringing them onto the tax roll, so that was kind of the, kind of the discussion amongst everybody was that most things are 10-year and graduated, so.
The ethanol plant was 10, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
For sure.
Have
I
we
think
been past the 10 years now?
Was that ethanol plant?
No.
No.
Gotta be getting close, so.
Yeah, it's gotta be 12 or 13. It came on.
Yeah,
But building codes in that time. I mean, so you could be close to 10.
Will you be at that meeting tomorrow?
I won't know. I'm in Bismarck.
Will we have anybody at that, will there be any representation of the school district at that meeting?
I don't know what they're taking for input, I mean, because we had 2 meetings before, so. I
Took
mean,
the
if somebody
input on
wants to
that
go.
Friday, right?
Yeah, they took input on that, the Tuesday night we met, and then on Friday, they took input on it.
did you tell them no?
I said our biggest thing was the 20 years. I said, we understand that there's gotta be some incentive to bring new businesses, but the 20 years was concerning.
There's just not much incentive for Stutsman County Commission to care what this school district is.
No.
Right.
And we are, I think we're second as far as the taxes that would come. When I sent that information out, I think that it indicated that that there was one, is it the actual county that had higher,
County would be higher.
was higher, and we're second.
So are they all on the same scale then, or does the school get singled out from everything else?
No, they'd all be on the same scale.
No, okay.
Yes.
About a 3-year, that's what it would be.
Okay. So we'll hear on that.
Yep.
So then we got use of bus.
Maybe Brett can help me with this one. Julie called today wondering, because they were gonna take that trip last year,
Yeah, they have
youth trip,
youth trip. They
and
wanted to run for youth
they're wondering
bus
about
for-
using a bus. So I think was it last year that, when we got canceled?
Yeah.
Ended up being canceled, because we had said they could use a bus. She's wondering if that offer still stands, or what, if there's anything.
So did that go
we can
through
do.
like transportation last year, or did it get anywhere since it got canceled? Did it just get left?
It just got left. I mean, I
Okay.
didn't even think about it till
Yeah.
she called today and asked about using it again, and
Did it,
Cause I think, yeah,
My question was, it brought up
did
last,
we ever discuss that?
not that I
last year,
know.
we did it at a board meeting. I don't know if we did it transportation. We agreed to let them take the bus.
We did?
yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Can you read
When that was?
what's on that, what it's?
We'd
What's
have
all
to go
about?
back and-
I don't recall it either, so.
Because
Rick,
we,
you know what it's all about? Where they're going, when they're going?
Yeah, they're going 20,
it's over the
Ninth.
4th of July, because Julie said they wouldn't need the big bus, they'd need a smaller one.
29th of June till the 5th of July, they'd be back. They're going to Denver for a youth retreat
Youth group
conference. Yep.
And then that's just, they borrow the bus with full tank, they bring it back with full tank type thing? Is that kind of the idea, or?
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
was-
that,
it's up to
that
you.
I think was a discussion, whether they wanted rental or mileage or whatever it would be returned as.
I just think it just, as long as they're cause would it fall under our insurance as?
Just driving it.
Yeah, I'm sure they would have to have insurance on it in case they would have to.
We'd have
insure
it, yeah, it's covered under that youth group insurance.
They'd have to have proof of insurance, get that
Right.
to Lindsay so that she's got a copy of it in case something were to happen.
Right.
Bud's concern is if something does happen and we have to start the year without a bus, that's his concern.
I'm more concerned if something happens that far away, who goes after it?
Well, that's what I said.
That was
You do,
his
Mike.
concern too,
You know what's gonna
because-
happen, I'm gonna wind up fixing it, whatever it is, and bringing
I
it back.
can't, you know, Eric can't insure one of my vehicles and drive it.
No.
I don't understand how
Well,
somebody.
my,
can
my
get
insurance would
insurance.
cover me if I drove your vehicle, it'd cover that vehicle.
Will it cover a bus?
Wow.
I mean, I had a vehicle that I didn't actually own at the time, and I went to try to put insurance on it, and I couldn't do it.
Well, I didn't put insurance, it just, my insurance,
Just your
my
insurance
coverage
covers
Your
you.
coverage would.
covers that,
Yeah.
me driving anybody's vehicle.
But who's driving the bus?
Brett,
Or Julie.
I always believed from the past that we didn't allow this because we could have 20 different groups ask for a bus. And if we do this,
Open up a can of worms.
we open that up,
We
and we
hear you.
can't say no then.
They're all hearing that.
Yeah, 'cause you got, you
Well,
got
and that
all
could
kinds
be-
of groups going to
Right.
South Carolina and everything else.
Family trips go.
That's why I didn't know they'd offered to pay or whatever if they wanted, or, so.
That's just my input, so if anybody else has,
well, that's kind of what Bud,
Well, it makes sense, thinking it that way, it makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be one thing if you're going to Jamestown for
right,
the day or something or whatever, but.
and Bud said, my question would be what happens if something goes wrong? Would I have to drive to Colorado? Well, she said I'm not driving to Colorado to get her bus. No. Or anything like that, or who's responsible if it gets totaled, or if they hit a deer, and we don't have a bus for the fall. And then he just said, I just don't know if it's a precedent we wanna set, just to borrow our buses out.
I had to go to St. Cloud to get a broken Suburban.
Oh, they went to, Bud had to go, we had them,
Down the city,
Suburban.
same thing.
And St.
after
Cloud was closed.
after the disaster in Minnesota, I'm just skeptical of this. Even hitting a deer or something could leave us without a bus in the fall, and that doesn't benefit us at all.
So we had this discussion last year?
I don't recall.
I don't remember that, but
But
I,
I know we had, because at some point we had,
I believe if we did, I would have said the same thing.
yeah,
Maybe you were gone on that
Remember it.
one, I don't remember.
I don't remember it at all.
well, we would need a motion to allow that. Is anybody willing to make that motion?
Are you sure?
And this would need to be done at this meeting.
Yep.
is the next meeting.
the next meeting in July. so.
I'm gonna stay out of that one.
Can we defer this to the transportation committee and see if that moves?
Monday night,
Just make a motion tonight if we're gonna do it.
We still would have to, the committee can't make the decision, so we would have to, I think we gotta make that motion tonight if we're looking to do that. We can discuss that further at transportation committee, yes. but- Anybody willing to make the motion to allow the use of the bus? Any motions? Or at least a motion till we can discuss it and vote. Or a motion to deny. We need some,
we would need to get
Some direction.
You need some direction. I make a motion to deny the request.
okay,
I will second it being
okay, second by Rob. Any other discussion there? Hearing none, the motion to deny the request. Roll call, Lindsay.
Chad,
Yes.
Lee,
yes.
Eric,
Yes.
Rob,
Yes.
Michelle,
Yes.
Cindy,
Yes.
Brett. Lining,
Right,
Mike.
yes, yeah.
Yes. Okay. Correspondence or any other discussion anybody has? Anybody?
With the transportation committee and the bus road, is there a time to provide input for that, before that meeting? Or is there an open thing, or for people to
I think we've got
communicate
enough,
what they wanna see?
I think we've got enough input on how much everybody wants. We've heard from a
Well,
number of people,
I don't
I
think
understand
so,
that.
because this needs to be taken care of, cause it's
Yes.
one of the biggest issues with this
Yep.
school.
I agree.
And it's been a failure.
Yep, I agree. And that's why, because last year when we set the whole policy, we stuck with it. Now
And
we
we
need to.
decided to change it for next year, and we're
Yep.
going into July, and you haven't even discussed it yet.
No,
That's
Yeah.
on the discussion for Monday, isn't it?
well, that's why I said, because we need to have it for
So
the
there
July
hasn't
meeting.
been plenty of time for stuff to be brought up.
Well,
We need this to
okay.
get brought forward.
So you want me to send a survey, or what would you like? I mean,
Ju-
I don't
just
know, I
we-
just feel
we've
like this has
gotten-
been pushed off and ignored.
No,
Because I
we-
can tell you from the rural people that send kids to this school, it is one of
I-
the biggest failures of this school district is not doing something adequate for the transportation.
and like I said, I mean, maybe me saying we've got enough input, but we've heard from a lot of patrons. I'm not gonna say how, I mean, I can't give you a number, but we've heard from patrons that is their biggest concern is that they don't have an alternative. So we know that going into this.
Well, we could put out to say we're gonna have a transportation, cause they know,
Yep.
we've talked about it coming,
Yep.
that it's next Monday. List who's on the committee, and so we can get back to the committee members or to yourself or whatever.
I could send it out tomorrow morning.
Put that on the
If I'm
list,
done.
sir.
That
that's
comes
on this
out, that gives us the July meeting to vote on it, and if we
Yeah.
don't approve what you bring forward, it's not gonna happen before August.
Yeah, and I guess I would see that it would be, but I can't guarantee that.
That's
You're
putting a lot
correct.
of faith in the transportation committee to do it right.
Yep. So I can do that. I'll send out tomorrow morning that the meeting is Monday, and I'll send it to our patrons and let them know that who's on the committee, and if they've got input, please contact one of those individuals or myself.
Okay.
I'll do that in the morning. I can go do it right now.
Anybody have anything else? Next meeting is July 21st.
Did we set a time, or you're gonna send something out for the hot lunch?
We didn't set anything. so-
Where he's gonna talk with Kim and whoever's on it, then get out to a
Okay,
time
okay,
for that.
okay,
Yeah.
okay, just wanna make sure I didn't
Yeah,
miss anything.
no, we don't have a time right there, they're gonna work on that. Not, we're adjourned. Speaking of scholarships, you'll be able to present
We can
one?
leave this summer, right?
Okay, I don't know whether you go to school or nothing. so
I
maybe
would think with it being summer, right? I mean, do we ask
Going
that?
to attend.
And they're out an hour a day,
Yeah.
like,
Oh, where the other,
Do you want the tables put back or what? Well, I didn't know, cause you have kids coming on Wednesday, so.
Yeah, I'll hear those.
She wants that. Okay.
And this one I don't have a contract.
I didn't know if we could leave them up because of something.
Yeah, I'd have to ask
on
Jared.
that Facebook thing has
Thank
three
you,
names.
Eric.
But then,
We're gonna have to run the tape.